Hi, and welcome to Coffee with Claire. Today we are working on assuming the best in every person that you come across. In improv, we always start with we know each other, we like each other, and everything works beautifully. And the reason we do that is because the audience doesn't want us to ramp up with, hey, do I know you? Or have I met you before? It's like we want to start right in the middle of the scene so it's interesting to everybody. And if we don't do that, what ends up happening is we talk about the thing. And the thing is really a nebulous idea that everyone has to guess about it. For example, if I was in a scene with somebody and I said, here, take this. What I'm doing is I'm putting the onus on the person that's next to me to identify what that is. And wouldn't it be a much more interesting scene if I said, here, take this diamond bracelet that you've been wanting for the last 20 years. When we have something like that, when we're very specific in our language, it opens up a lot more interest in what's going on, as well as gives us opportunity to be very clear and concise. And so this week, what I challenge you to do is think about how clearly and concisely you are working with people and when you're communicating with them. And think about a different way that you might be able to approach them so they don't walk away just thinking about the thing, but really understanding what you want. Let us know how that works on our Facebook page with Coffee with Claire. We're listening. As you know, each week we bring on entrepreneurs, people who give back to the community, and people who like to have fun. So today I'd like for you to welcome Sandra Lewis. Sandra is the owner of Life at the Table. And Sandra worked in the corporate world for about 20 years. And then in 2009, she had a now or never moment where she sold her house, put everything in storage, and went to culinary school. She merged her two lives into building a business that helps people understand the secret sauce recipe for living a healthy and satisfied life. So welcome, Sandra. So glad to have you.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So tell us a little bit about, first how you got out of the corporate world, because a lot of the people that watch us are entrepreneurs, and we totally understand what that feels like to be under that big corporate umbrella, and then all of a sudden it's like, I've got this epiphany. I'm going to do something different. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. So I worked in corporate America for 20 years and did training and development for 10, and then sold technology for 10. Loved both of those phases of my life, but realized that doing either of those was not going to get me out of bed with finishing my career really strong. So I had to take a look at my life and decide what was it that really energized me every day.
Right.
And I decided that I could spend my entire day in the kitchen.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, and so the kitchen life was for you, and so you ran off, and I'm sure your family was like, what are you doing? It's like, you're going to go to school, you've been in business for 20 years, you've got a family to support, what's up?
Yeah, so I had to sell my house, and I put everything in storage, and that's when I enrolled in culinary school. And
wow.
Yeah, I think part of my family thought I had lost my mind. My girls, who were in college at the time, were my biggest cheerleaders.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
They were like, go mom.
They were like, go mom. And so they were in college, I was in college, and we would talk on the phone. They were out of state, and I would say, hey, love you, but I got to go. I have a baking test tomorrow.
A baking test.
So,
well, they were in college. They get it.
They got it. They got it right away. Yeah, they did.
So, so you went to school, and then you've decided to put together this company called Life at the Table. And so tell us a little bit about how you came to the idea of Life at the Table. I think it's pretty descriptive of a lot of people's lives. But what's your take on it?
Sure. So all of those years that I was in corporate America, I was also a single mom. It wasn't the way I had planned to live my life, but life happens.
Sure.
So I looked at the prospect of raising two small children and having a career, and thought, how can I pour into their lives like I had really wanted to as a mother, and still work? And so my solution was to spend time at the table with them every evening. And most of the days I cooked. And that we went for pizza every Thursday night.
Okay.
So we, that was a treat for us. We knew it was coming and we enjoyed it. But I cooked, and it was at the table that I got to know them. I knew what their homework was, who their friends were, who their teachers were.
Right.
And I watched them grow from, they were 2 and 3 when I divorced, and to now they're in their 20s, and I've seen their whole lives progress. And most of that took place at the table.
Wow.
So that's where life at the table comes from.
I love that. So you say that the act of savoring the table experience brings benefits into our lives unequal to any other human experience. So tell us a little bit about what you mean with that.
Sure. I think most everyone can relate to a moment in their life where they've shared a meal with someone and they felt like they deeply connected to that person.
Oh, yeah.
So I think there are, when we share a meal at the table, that we feed our bodies first, but we also feed our soul and our spirit. And so that's really what's important in life. And we tend to forget that in our crazy, fast-paced, busy lives.
Yeah.
We're going a million miles a minute, and then what do we decide to do at the end of the day? We think, oh, there's a rumbly in the tumbly, I've got to feed myself. So it's either fast food or it's takeout. And I think none of those solutions are good for our body, and definitely not for our soul and our spirit. It's really at the table when we spend time with family and friends that we're restored, redeemed in a sense, and transformed.
And so you say that life at the table is where life and work meet.
Correct.
So, and there's true satisfaction in that. I think a lot of people find it hard to find time to make this, happen. I mean, this looks great, and I think about how much time it takes to chop stuff up and to make it all, look, good enough to eat. I'm not a cook, and so cancel. I'm learning how to cook, and I'm sure that you can teach me a lot. So how do we fit that in? I mean, I got to go to the store, and then I got to look at a recipe, and then I got to go put it all together, and by the time we cook it, I'm tired. So
Right.
So how do we get all that and work and take care of our families and fit it all in?
Well, I think there's a couple of things. Number one, you have to make it a priority, just like anything else in your life that you do that's important to you. You have to make sharing the table a priority. So it has to become a priority, and once it's a priority, then you need some skill. And we have lost skill in the kitchen. So people don't know how to chop an onion.
Yeah.
They don't know how to chop a bell pepper or a carrot. And the whole prospect of doing that to make a delicious meal is very overwhelming. And so you just think, oh, another day I'll do that. So I think...
Or the weekend. I'll do it on the weekend.
Right. And you can do that on the weekend and cook and then have meals available to, to warm up throughout the week. So so there are strategies and techniques that I talk about. I teach an 8-hour culinary skills program designed for the home cook that's called the Kitchen Academy.
Okay.
That talks about those very things for people who want to slow down their lives, who want to feed themselves well, who want to spend time at the table with friends and family. It's very doable. And it's doable with technique and just a few strategies that you can incorporate into your life.
So if we were going to chop an onion, how would we do that? What's your recommended approach?
Oh, well, it's very simple. And onion is one of those ingredients. If you read any recipe, one of the first ingredients is going to be to chop an onion. So it's very important. Knife skills are important because it's an aromatic and it adds flavor to dishes.
Yes, it does.
I'm
going to
grab.
You cry.
I'm going to grab. Yeah.
Is there any way that you can stop your crying?
There are a lot of techniques that you can read about for chopping an onion. The best one that I know is just to have a sharp knife and get it over with really quickly. So less of the...
We don't have to put on a
mask. You don't need any goggles. You don't need a match with sulfur. I mean, there's so many techniques.
Oh, I hadn't heard of that one.
Yeah, you light a match or you put a match in your mouth while you're cutting.
Oh, that sounds dangerous. No.
Well, it's not lit when you put it in your mouth. It's not lit.
It's like, it's my hair on fire.
So you run water. I mean, there's so many techniques, but I think the easiest way is just to have a sharp knife.
Okay.
Okay, that's the easiest way. And when you look at the onion, this is the root end, and then this is the stem end. And
oh, really? This looks like the root.
Yeah, that's the stem.
Okay.
So that's where the green stem rises above the dirt. These are the roots that go down.
Did not know that.
One of the first things you want to do is just barely chop off this piece of the root, because that's where a lot of the dirt and debris from the earth is in this. So I get it off and off of my cutting board as soon as possible.
And then
so
do you wash your cutting board again?
No, I just knock off any dirt that landed there. And then I cut off the stem end.
Okay.
And then I set it on this flat surface, and then I cut through
from top to bottom.
From top to bottom.
Okay.
And then I peel it. So that's when I take the peel
you
off.
Don't peel it before.
Because this is really kind of hard to get your finger in there, and so don't try to peel it before
You're right.
you cut it. Right? Okay. And then once you get it cut through this root end, you lay it flat.
Okay.
And you make a horizontal cut through it, and then you make a series of vertical cuts.
Okay.
And then you turn it back and make another series of vertical cuts. And it is amazing. You can cut an onion in like 1 minute. It's chopped just the way you want it, and it's ready for whatever dish you want to put it in.
Awesome. And then for an onion, if you chop up a lot at the same time, how long is it going to stay okay in your refrigerator before you need to throw it out?
I have an onion in my refrigerator right now that I had chopped before I went on a 2-week vacation to see family and help out with a new baby, and it's still in my refrigerator and it's still good.
Really? Okay.
Because my refrigerator was shut for 2 weeks, the temperature in there stayed really cold.
Okay.
I wouldn't recommend that. But I would say if you chop an onion, it's going to be good in your refrigerator for a while, at least for a week. It's probably going to be good for longer than most people would think it's good for.
Yeah, because I always think at the end of the week I need to throw it out because, and then I feel bad because I've only used like this much of it.
Right.
I hate throwing it away.
Right.
So, thank you for helping us understand how to cut it. That's actually called chopping an onion, right?
Right.
Not just cutting, but chopping.
You can chop it. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So, you told us a little bit about your classes that you do for the folks that are wanting to cook in their own kitchens. You've also got some other things that you do besides that. So let the audience know about your other endeavors.
Okay, sure. So, first of all, I'm a speaker. And one of my goals is to inspire people to spend time at the table. So I speak to groups of all kinds, all sizes, and talk to them about my experiences as a single mom and what the table experience did for me in my life and in the lives of my girls. Thirdly, I go into corporate America, and I have a program called Dishing Up Results, where I teach health and wellness in a variety of formats. And it's basically helping employees become the best that they can be by teaching them how to eat healthy, which leads to performance and profit for the organization. Because if you're an employee and you're feeding yourself well, then you're going to be satisfied and full, and you're going to return to work the next day with being the best whole person that you can be, and perform and more importantly, love the work that you do and be able to put your whole mind into it and bring your creativity and learn to collaborate with your coworkers. So as simple as it sounds, eating well and sharing the table, I believe, impacts every part of our life. And unfortunately, it's just not something that people are doing today. So that's my mission.
Right. Well, it makes sense because, we're always saying kids need to have a good meal before they go to school. The parents need to have a good meal before they go to work. It's the same thing. We got to be able to feed our bodies so we can be as, proactive and as energetic as possible.
Correct.
While we're there. And, creative problem solving and that kind of thing. So,
and if I could just say one thing about breakfast, I think that we need to begin to think about feeding ourselves differently at that very first important meal of the day. Sometimes I will take a bell pepper and I will chop it up and saute it and then make myself an egg, and I've gotten in some protein and also a vegetable.
Oh, okay.
Or I will saute some spinach and I'll have that with my egg. I try to incorporate vegetables as much as possible into that first meal of the day. And that's a way to, again, feed yourself healthy, kind of change your habits.
Right.
Cut out the sugar and really give your body what it needs for a good day.
So coffee and donuts are probably not on your agenda.
Oh, coffee is on my agenda every day.
Oh, good.
My day does not start without coffee.
Okay, awesome.
At least 2 cups.
Just not the donut part.
Hey, I am not the food police, and I believe everything in moderation. So I love donuts.
Oh, good.
But do I eat them every day?
Yeah,
No.
probably not.
Yeah.
Well, Sandra, thank you so much for the tips that you've given us today. We really appreciate you being here on Coffee with Claire.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So as you know, in this series, we're going to be learning some improvisational comedy games. And so I have Shelby from Comedy Sports, and I have Sandra from Life at the Table to help me. And today we're going to play one-word story. And so with one-word story, what we do is we get a suggestion from the audience, and then we make up a story one word at a time, okay? So we don't want to say even hyphenated words because that's really 2 words together, right? Okay, so we need a suggestion from our audience. So what is our suggestion going to be?
Making dinner?
All right, making dinner. Let's make it the most awesome dinner ever, okay?
Yeah.
All right, so are we ready?
Yes.
Yes, okay. One
Day.
I
made,
Supper.
and
I
Used.
tenderloin
steak
To.
cook
the
Tacos.
period. Because everyone has tenderloin in their tacos. Okay.
That's going to be a great taco.
All right. Sentence 2, starting with Sandra.
I
Was
Eating
the
taco
while
I
watched,
television
and
saw,
that
Bugs Bunny.
saw that Bugs Bunny.
Sorry. I'm not good at one word, Claire.
You're doing great. Challenged
Tasmanian
Devil
to,
a
cook-off.
so
then
I
went
to
the
kitchen
and
chopped
up.
some
jalapenos.
They
were
Delicious.
and
spicy.
Yeah.
okay. So let's
And?
get. Oh, and more and juicy.
Delicious.
Let's. Okay, so we'll wrap it up. Let's say the moral of the story is the
More.
moral.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
The
okay.
moral
Of
the
story
is
sorry.
is
Watch,
what?
you
eat.
Ta-da!
Oh, no.
Good job, you guys. So my first question is, we are all so busy. How do you balance fun with responsibility at work?
It's tough, but I work with my family, so we're very close, so we have a good time all day, every day. And on top of that, I'm living my dream.
So how do you encourage others in their life to have fun?
Just by, relax. And that's part of my business is to, we're a massage and day spa, so we're always helping people relax. And so just relax.
So what advice could you give someone that might be struggling right now as to how to keep it fun?
Again, relax, because I just finished my first year. It has been so stressful, a ton of fun. But, the more, if I relax, the more fun I have and the easier it is.
So tell us a little bit about your business.
Well, we're a massage and day spa. So we have everything from, of course, all types of massage to facials, anti-aging treatments, haircut and color, eyelash extensions, and a number of other things.
So if you had a happy dance or a happy stance, what would that look like? So remember, the challenge this week is to be very specific with your language. Set people up for success so they can deliver exactly what you're asking them to do. And remember to follow the fun. We'll see you next week.